Creepers left and right, buzz like crazy. Everybody's trying to stimulate it. Spiders in the mirror and things can't be right. Back to the scene of a Friday night, to a blessed collision still frozen tight. Spill drinkers, Cupid and the sound of her first chime. And why did you argue? We're dreaming of those eyes, the best part of my life. And when we make love, babe, don't make a sound, the clock won't turn around. Ooh, you turn around, 2,000 little fires, and you circle.
Hello my dear friends, welcome back to another vlog. Welcome back to another reading vlog, and guess what, it's Monday. It's Monday, so we can start this reading vlog off right, because if you watched last week's reading vlog, I started it too late. Started on a Thursday, had 2 days to read a book, or two. Hopefully I was going to read 2, I only got 1 read. So this week we're starting this vlog on Monday, but I'm going to just take you through what I'm reading this week, because one of the downfalls for me with reading vlogs is that I feel limited to the types of books that I can read, because it has to be something that is short enough that I can talk to you about in a week. So this week I am going to do something different because I'm in the middle of a very long book. I'm reading Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff, and I want to continue reading that, but it's probably going to take me a while. So that's not to say I'm not going to read anything else, because I am. I'm just not entirely sure of what that will be yet. Maybe what I will do is go ahead and, let's see. Maybe what I can do is just go ahead and, sorry, I just got an email about my son's school. Do vampire books this week. That would be fun. So we will do Empire the Vampire, and then another book on my TBR is Cloak of the Vampire, which is a KU book. Fantasy romance, paranormal romance. So that's what our goal is. I always come to you guys when I start these and I'm like, here's what I want to read. And then the week goes on and everything goes off the rails, because that's just the nature of life. Anyway, I do want to give a shout out to Dylan's channel of Spaced Out Wizards, because this is a book that he recommended to me. We kind of did a swap, because he was like, you should read this if you like character-driven books. And I was like, well, okay, but then you have to watch Vampire Diaries, and so he's doing that. So it's been very fun, and I am very much enjoying this. I do have a lot of thoughts about this, but I'm going to save them for my next clip, because I gotta get started on work right now. So I'll come back when I have some time to update you on what I'm thinking, but so far I'm very much enjoying this, very hooked. The writing style has instantly gripped me, like I am immediately immersed into this world. His writing style is very beautiful, but not overly flowery at all. I love the way that he pairs words. Like sometimes he will use a very beautifully descriptive word and he'll put it with something that is almost a little vulgar. And so like that push and pull is very effective at getting you really into who this character is. And it's an interesting reading style to just consume. So I'm really liking the writing style. I really love the concept of it. The whole thing is basically this silver saint who is like the last of his kind, and they're known for killing vampires. Essentially, he's a vampire slayer. And he's being interviewed by one of the vampires, because at the time of this book, what's happening is called Day's Death, where the vampires can go out in the sunlight. They're not killed by that. And so then they have decimated humans and the Silver Saints. And it's interesting. So this is basically an account of Gabriel, how he got to where he is and how things happened. So it's very interesting. I'm very into it. All right. So I'm going to go work. I'll message you all. I'll update y'all when I have more to say. Hello my friends, welcome back to the vlog. I usually start my vlogs right here. So yesterday I started it in my bedroom because I was also filming a video, a Patreon exclusive video, and I just started the vlog in there, but I like to start them here in my studio on a Monday because I usually start them before I start my workday, so I've got my little drink ready to go. But today's Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, we're doing a good job weekly vlogging this week. I realize that probably doesn't matter to anybody but me, but we're doing a good job. So first of all, reading update. I have some book mail here I want to share with you that I've just gotten. So Empire the Vampire is what I'm mostly focusing on, and I am about halfway through, and I am honestly so deeply impressed with this book on so many levels. There's so much that is kind of blowing me away and exceeding my expectations, and I'm not entirely sure why. I feel like I had low expectations for this. I don't know why, but this is fantastic in just about every way. Like, honestly, the characters in here, our main character Gabriel, who is the Silver Saint Vampire Slayer, the only one remaining of his kind or order or whatever, it's him narrating his story and how it got to be that he's the only one left. And so most of this book is recounted in a history style, which feels a little bit like inner dialogue-y. So he's telling you a lot of history, but it's interspersed with scenes of what happened, like almost flashbacks. But I mean, it's flashbacks for him, but we're getting the story in that way. So it's a very interesting narrative style because it's not this continuous... It's not like a continuous plot thread through the whole thing. There are a series of events that are connected, which, I mean, that is technically what a plot is. But as we're reading this book, as we're getting into it, the overarching mystery is what happened to the Silver Saints. Like, why is he the only one left? So that's the whole mystery. So as we're deep in his story, we're seeing members of his order who were friends, who we're assuming they're going to have to die at some point, you know? And I really do like the way that he has created vampires in here. I think they're super interesting. They're very dark. They're very otherworldly. Like, there are some moments in here that he describes them just absolutely perfectly, especially in contrast with a human. Because the way that, I mean, I feel like in a lot of vampire books, especially in like a paranormal romance, the threat of the vampire is there, but it's overwhelmed with usually the sexual attraction that the character is having to the vampire. So this is a very interesting and refreshing take on that, because the vampires in here are largely not physically attractive. And something that is really interesting about the vampires is that when there's not a lot of knowledge about what causes vampires to turn, or humans to turn into vampires. And one of the things that I really like about them the most is that when they turn in their life, like, whatever stage their body is in decomposition is what they rise like. So if their brain has decomposed quite a bit, then they're a little brainless. They're a little bit like zombies, you know? But if they change shortly after so that, like, their intellect and everything is still there, then they're very intelligent. So I just find it so fascinating. And you know, I think that because this essentially feels a little bit like a quest, we just don't know what the quest really is. Those can be, I think, a little bit hard for me to personally feel really invested in, unless I feel either a really strong connection to the characters themselves, or I'm very intrigued with the concept. And I have both of those here. And I mean, the first opening in here, which shows us our main character Gabriel, who is the Silver Saint, he's essentially captured and he's going to die, presumably. He's going to be executed. It's him with the vampire historian who's going to write down his story. And so that whole opening scene is filled with so much tension and so much danger and so much what is going on here. Like, curiosity is overwhelming. And the prose in here is so stunning. Like, he knows just the right amount of beautiful words and when to rein it back in. Like, his prose is masterful in here. So I am very much a Jay Kristoff fan as of this moment. I am obsessed with how he writes everything in here. I think that the world feels very vivid and very real. I think the characters are very relatable, even though they are something that is not at all in our world. Like, he still has a good way of giving them human tendencies that can be relatable to any reader. And the overall story, the overall mystery of what's happening, how did it get here, what, like, going back and finding out what happened to that led them to that point. Like, I'm just very, very intrigued. So I'm having such a great time reading this. I really am loving it. I'm very, very impressed with this. So that's where I'm at right now. I just read a chapter called 2 Words, which was super short. Like, it's only these 2 pages. The pages are so thin in my paperback. It's only 2 pages, and it's essentially about Gabriel, our main character, and a woman who he suspects has been turned into a vampire. He knows she's been turned into a vampire, and they have history, right? And this whole 2 pages is so full of just like vivid, visceral feelings of what is going on in that moment. And you can feel Gabriel's push and pull because she wants him to invite her in. And he's just saying the whole time, like, everything about this moment hinges on the 2 words, come in or not. Like, it's so good. It's so good. And I will say that I don't know if I mentioned this. I may have, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and edit the first clip. And if I mentioned how he writes women, I'm not going to reiterate that. But if I didn't, then I'll talk about that in my next clip. So, super enjoying this one. Very, 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 very good. Very good. So yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm having a great time reading that. And then I am also currently reading physically an arc. I thought this came out on the 15th. It does not. It comes out on the 10th. So today is October 8th. It is the morning of October 8th. And so I've got 2 days to finish reading Secret Love by Willow Aster. This is book 2 in her Single Dads playbook, I think is what it's called. They're all like sports stars, single dads, and it's their romances. And I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was fantastic. Hello, Cosmo. Oh, thank you for the kiss. That was unexpected and sweet. Oh, I don't know why he came up all of a sudden to do that. He is a sweet boy. He is such a sweet boy. I don't know where to put this. I'm running out of room in my studio, if you haven't noticed, because I am blocking my gigantic stack of books. But Secret Love, I'm only a few chapters into it, so I've gotta stay up late tonight and tomorrow to get that done, because I asked for this arc. I haven't really asked for a lot of bigger name contemporary authors, and I asked for this one and I got it, so I gotta get it done and get my review up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, Secret Love, single dad. He is divorced, and it sounds like he really thought his wife was his soulmate and she's the one who left him, and he is now struggling to really have any type of romantic connection. You know, like, he said that he thought that intimacy was just for your soulmate, so he's like, I've tried to have a series of one-night stands and realized that's not for me for the most part. And the opening scene is him with his daughters. He's got like 3 daughters. The oldest is 13, so they're a little older, so this is a little bit of an older hero. And he is getting them ready for school. You see a little bit of the family dynamic. You see there's some issues with one of the daughters in school. And then our heroine is comes into the picture with her own point of view. It sounds like she is starting as a substitute teacher. Now, the hero and heroine have a meeting, which is really, really sweet. I really love their meet cute, and the hero is instantly intrigued with her in a way that feels different than how he's been intrigued with other women. So, I'm really liking it. I'm excited. So that is a book that is going to be in this vlog. I'll fully review that in here, and then we'll see what else happens, because, like I said, I thought that came out next week. Turns out it comes out in 2 days, so we gotta get some reading done. Alright, let's do some book mail, first of all. So, I got sent some wonderful books by a patron named Lisa. She is so sweet. She has a YouTube channel herself. I will have it linked down below. But she wanted some advice and some tips on filming and things like that, and so she sent me some books as a thank you, which I thought was so incredibly kind of her. So she sent me these 3 books right here. So the first one that she sent me is Darius, which I recently read and absolutely loved. 6-star historical romance. I immediately put this on my wish list. I didn't realize this was indie published. Like, why am I so dumb? I don't know. But it is, and now I have this beautiful, beautiful edition, which I can't wait to go through and highlight this and reread it physically, because this book was beautiful. This book was recommended to me by Linda, who is also a patron, and it was her only 6-star read. I hope I'm saying that right, Linda. I apologize if I'm not. And, you know, I often give my patrons an opportunity to recommend a book for me to read and vlog, and this was one of them. So I read this and was blown away, and it was also a 6-star read for me. So that was a great recommendation, Linda, and I'm so thrilled to have a physical copy now, because I love this book. I love it so much. Excellent, excellent, excellent historical romance. Okay, and then Lisa also sent me this beautiful copy, which is a new release. It is A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Yang. I'm not entirely sure how to say that, but this is a beautiful first edition with sprayed edges. This I heard a TikTok friend talking about this book. This is a, let's see, it says inspired by the legend of Jixi. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. One of the famous four beauties of ancient China, A Song to Drown Rivers is an epic novel steeped in myth about womanhood, war, sacrifice, and love against all odds as the fate of two kingdoms hangs in a delicate balance. Sounds wonderful. I'm so excited about this one. And then this one I am very, very excited about because I've been wanting to read this forever. It is Fear the Flames. This is the new traditionally published release. Like, look at how beautiful. It's got some really pretty gold foiling on it. This is by Olivia Rose Darling. I want to read this one right away. And I may actually, depending on where my mood is, I might do this one next in this vlog. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's Tuesday. It's still early, so we don't know where we're headed yet with this vlog. We know we're reading about Empire of the Vampire and Secret Love, and I don't know what else is happening because who knows? Who knows at this point, right? So that was sent to me by a wonderful patron. Thank you so much, Lisa. I absolutely love those, and be sure to check her channel out. I'll have it linked down below. And then I have some exciting book news. This is from my dear, beloved bestie, bookish bestie, Lil Sis. I call her my little sis because she's younger than me and she is so sweet. She means so much to me. She means the world to me. She is one of my dearest friends. She has a Patreon as well, which I support, and she allows you to suggest a book and she'll do an exclusive review, and then she annotates the book and she sends it to somebody who, you know, she randomly chooses on there. So the book that she chose was my recommendation. It's one of my favorite books, and it is Heart in the Highlands. She read it and she really enjoyed it. She loved it. She annotated it and then she sent it to me. And she also sent me this absolutely beautiful Lord of the Rings book sleeve. I'm so thrilled. I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And look, it has our girls Galadriel and Arwen. And I'm so thrilled. I love it so much. Thank you so much, Jen. And then, of course, this really cute business card, which is so freaking cute. Look at the back. Let's see, focus. So cute. Jen Marshall, creator, reader, HEA lover. That's adorable. And then, of course, there is a card. Let's see what, oh wait, this looks like stickers. I love stickers so much. Okay, these are adorable. It says, Big Sis, I had a wonderful time reading this, though expect a few water spots near the end. XOXO Jen. P.S. I've included some stickers from Ginger Snap Bookish Co. plus a sleeve from my shop that I hope you'll enjoy. So yes, Jen makes this book sleeve, and she does have a shop where you can get one. They are excellent book sleeves. I always use one when I'm traveling and put a book in there. It's fabulous. So let's see the stickers. This one is awesome. Fantasy girly. We love it. We love it so much. This one says mood reader. Look at that. These are so pretty and holographic. I love that one. And this one says literary tea book club. Like, hello, that's me all over it. I love it so much. I know I haven't made tea in my videos in a long time. I need to do that. So thank you so much, Jen, for, I haven't even gotten to the book yet, but these extras are so wonderful, and I love them so much, so thank you. And now let's get into the book. I am very excited about this. I can't wait to read what she wrote on it. I think that's such a fun thing to do. I love that she does that. Oh, hi, Cosmo. Hello. And let's see here. So here is the book. I love this historical romance. It is so beautiful and romantic and just perfect. And I am thrilled to have this annotated copy. Oh, sir, what are you doing? Oh. So I'm already looked, and I can already see, look at this. That says, there's no room in my heart for sorrow, he'd said, his eyes transfixed on Isabel's small button nose, her blinking gray eyes. Not when I have so much to love. Stop it! That's so cute. Oh, I love I'm so thrilled. This is marked all up. She did a beautiful job of annotating it. Jen, I am so thrilled to have this. Thank you so freaking much. This absolutely made my day, and I couldn't be happier about this. I couldn't be happier that she loved it. I was a little worried that it might not have been her cup of tea, because while Jen and I have like strong similar tastes, we do diverge a little bit, and that is a book that like means so much to me. And whenever you have a book like that and you recommend it to someone, like you really hope that it means a lot to them too, you know? So I'm thrilled with that. Okay, so now this other package is from Juliet Cross, and I technically know what is in here, but I am so excited about this. So Juliet Cross is one of my favorite authors. I had the wonderful and amazing opportunity to beta read The Wraith King for her, along with some other beta readers, you know, Jessin from Smart Women Reads Romance. And I had already pre-ordered my copy of The Wraith King, and then Juliet let me know that she was going to be sending me one with some bonus extras. And she's like, you can either cancel that or, you know, do whatever you want, but you are getting one. It just won't be there on release day. So this just got here yesterday. And I did keep my copy, and I gave it away to one of my patrons, so that will be going in the mail. It's not in the mail yet, my dearest, who won, but it's going probably tonight, maybe tomorrow. So this is from Juliet Cross. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited. So here we have the beautiful Wraith King. It's so lovely. Like, isn't this absolutely gorgeous? I am absolutely obsessed with this book. I love it so much. So very, 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 very beautiful. Like, oh my gosh, my name is in the front. I actually haven't seen that in a printed copy. Look. Okay, it says, acknowledgements. Deep gratitude goes to my beta readers for this project, Sherry Lund, Malia Kramer, and Mary L. Brown, and a special thank you to Crystal Cook and Jessin Judas, whose insight went above and beyond in helping Gall and Una's story come to life. Thank you all so much. I am touched. I am so completely touched. And look at the character art. Oh, so stunning. Like, I am just so thrilled about this. I can't even tell you. Thank you so much, Juliet. I love it. But it did come with, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm literally going to die when I show you these things. This is so amazing. Okay, so all of these are the extras that I am so freaking excited about. So, first of all, we have this Wraith King sticker. Gall and Una, the cover art. Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much. And then a cute little sticker like this. That's super fun. And this is absolutely stunning. A bookmark, Juliet Cross bookmark. Thrilled. Juliet Cross Romance Paranormal Contemporary. And then this absolute stunning piece of art. I'm sorry for shouting. Look at this. A print of this absolutely beautiful. Can you see those beautiful babies? Oh, I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed. Thank you so much, Juliet. This 100% made my day. I'm thrilled. I'm speechless and thrilled. So what a great book mail day. I feel this like cheered me up so much. Thank you so much to everybody who sent me something. And yeah, I will update y'all when I've got more to say. I probably will have a long update because I expect to make a lot of progress in the Willow Aster and the Empire of the Vampire. I'll update y'all soon.
It is time. It's the perfect summer night. Those three words are spelled out in your eyes. But before I go on, say something wrong.
Hello, my friends. Okay, it is Thursday, right? Yes, it's Thursday afternoon. And I have a little over 100 pages left, which is a little bit less than 2 hours in the audiobook. And I just have to say, this is just going to be a quick update. I am so deeply impressed with this book. I am deeply, deeply impressed with this. I can't even really wrap my head around all of the incredibly tight storytelling and the writing that is very, very deliberate and is very beautiful and very evocative, and the characters who have so much depth. Like, I literally feel like everything about this book is hitting all of my check marks. So this is for sure going to be a 6-star read. Like, unless something really goes off the rails, which I don't see that happening, because having read this much of this book, I can tell, like, the amount of planning that has gone into creating this book and creating this story, and the fact that there's another book, like, this is just the first in a series. The second book is out. I believe it came out in August. I actually don't remember, but it is out. I feel like it came out somewhat recently. And also the fact of, like, where we're at in the story of him telling his history to us. I know there's so much more. We haven't even gotten really close to where he is in the first chapter of this, but it's so interesting to me because there is such a variety of scenes in this book. There are some scenes in here that are very gory and that are, you know, it's got a lot of battle. It's a very brutal, evil vampire book. And so you know there's going to be death, there's going to be a lot of blood, there's going to be a lot of carnage, like, and I think that he does sort of play with giving you just enough of that feeling to feel horrifying and to have, like, a very gut, visceral reaction, while at the same time he kind of pulls it back so that it's not just full on in that way, you know? I'm actually thinking of a book called Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman, which I read earlier this year, and I feel like that author did the opposite. There were a lot of scenes in there that were just, like, full throttle to horrify you or to gross you out or to shock you. And I always admire when an author has restraint, especially when they're very good at doing shocking things in their scenes or doing shocking things with the characters, when they don't just lay on the gas nonstop. I love when an author shows restraint. I think that's why I love slow burn romances so much, or small romantic gestures, because I think that ramping up of the tension, the ability to play with your emotions, is so rare a thing, even though that's everything that we're wanting when we're reading fiction. Is we want to have our feelings emotionally, we want to be manipulated, we want to have an emotional experience, but it takes a lot of skill to be able to do both. So there are some scenes in here that are very, like, almost like a rest when you're playing music, that are very, like, kind of quiet, that are amping up to a crescendo, and there are multiple crescendos events in here in the scenes, and I'm deeply, deeply impressed with this. The story is so immersive. Like, this definitely has taken me all week. It will be a week tomorrow when I started this book. It's kind of consumed my brain. I've been thinking about it nonstop. I love this world. I am so deeply impressed, and, you know, I've heard so many rave reviews about this book, and I am so thrilled to see that these met my expectations, and not only that, but they exceeded my expectations. So this is excellent fantasy. I am having the best time reading this. So I can't wait to see how this ends, like where it ends. And I may go right into the second book, not in this vlog, but right away I want to. I probably should order it today. Anyway, that's the progress on there. I'll come back with my final thoughts, but it's probably just going to be more gushing. I feel like there's also so much lore in here about the vampires that I feel like I've missed things already. Like, I've been asking Jen and Dylan for clarification on things because I feel like there's so much happening here. There's so much history. There's so much with the vampires in the world that, especially if you're, and I haven't been listening to this quickly, like, it's taken me a week to read, but I still feel like I'm missing things. So once I get to the end, I'll have the context of the world, and I want to go back and reread it. And also, just because it was such an engaging read, and vampires. Like, I love, love, love any type of vampire lore, but I especially love a very clever vampire lore, and that's what this is. So I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time. It's fantastic. I couldn't be happier with this read. So the other book that I am going to include, I must, is Secret Love by Willow Aster. Kind of an abrupt switch from a single dad sweet romance, you know, to this bloody and brutal, nothing is held back vampire fantasy. But I did not finish my physical arc of this book. I really hoped to, but I did not. So I did go ahead and get the audio. I bought the audio upgrade, which is only like $7 if you get the Kindle Unlimited book, which I did. So that came out today, hallelujah. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and start listening to that, and then that will be the next, the second book that I include in here in this vlog. So, all right, my friends, that's it. That's all I've got. That's all I've got for now. But yeah, what a great reading week. I also have more book mail, but it's in the studio, so I will get it for my next clip. I'll see y'all soon. Hello, my friends. Hello. Hello, today is Friday. Today is Friday, and I finished Empire of the Vampire. And this is 6 stars. This is a 6-star book for me. I'm absolutely, completely, like, jaw-droppingly amazed at this book. I feel like this book was so freaking good, and I'm not entirely surprised about that, because even though, like I said earlier, I had attempted to read Nevernight and I kind of had issues with how he was writing the young female character in a very like sexual way that just seemed kind of like weird to me. I don't think that I have ever once doubted his ability to be a strong, powerful writer. Also, fun fact, many years ago, when I was an aspiring writer, I want to get back to writing fiction at some point, but it's just not really, there's just not much time for it right now. But many years ago, when I was just reviewing books on a blog, I was part of a writers group, and Jay Kristoff was in that group. I read some of his pre-published stuff back then, and we obviously, like, he would not remember me, I'm positive this was a very long time ago, but this is the first completed book of his that I've ever read, and I'm absolutely awestruck and amazed. This is an easy 6-star read. This is one of the best things I have read in fiction in a very, 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 very long time. This hit everything that I'm looking for. Like, it had a very interesting, very unique, while still being very familiar, take on vampires. I mean, I do think it is kind of hard to have a unique spin on vampires while still keeping them in the vampire lore that we know. But there were aspects of this that were very unique and that were very clearly well thought out that I just really loved. I think the characters in here are 100% the strong point. Specifically Gabriel, the hero, the main character of this book. You're following him and his point of view, you're learning his history. He is such a strong character, strongly built character, very complicated, very complex, dealing with a lot of like demons and turmoil, and very, very good. His emotions are very well articulated across to the reader. But also the side characters were interesting too. None of them really have the same depth that Gabriel does at this point, but they're still really solid, interesting characters. The narrative of this is very interesting because as he is recounting the history, it's told in 2 separate timelines. So one when he's 15 or 16, and the other one when he's about like 32. And sometimes, especially if you're listening to the audiobook, it can kind of be hard to keep track. Like, I feel like I didn't pick up on that for a while because I was doing the audiobook exclusively. And so for that reason, and because of just like how dense this is with the lore and with the plot, I do feel like I wish I had read this physically with just my eyes the first time, because I feel like there's a lot of this that I didn't pick up on through just because I was listening to the audio. And I slowed the audio way down. Like, it was at 1.7 to 1.5. Which is pretty slow for me. Like, usually I do 2, and I'm totally fine with 2. But I finished this, and I immediately wanted to get back into this world. Like, I didn't want to let the world go. And not just this world, because I know there's book 2, which I've already ordered. I'm going to be starting that as soon as possible. It's not even that I want to stay in this world. I want to get back into this book specifically and pick up on the things that I've missed, because I know when I got to the end, things were like I was making connections, things were coming together that I feel like now when I go back to reread it, everything will be much more clear to me. So I really like doing that with fantasy books, actually, or anything that is really has great world building, or is really well thought out. Like, I'd love to go back to the beginning and read it all again, having the hindsight of knowing where it ends up, you know, and how things kind of unravel, and you can pick up on things that you missed. I just find that really fun in fantasy specifically. So yeah, the ending in here was so good. The ending was so good. There was a reveal at the end that I did not see coming. I love how this ended with so much that is going to happen in the next book. Like, I just feel like this is such a masterpiece. I love it. And I did go back and edit the clips that I had done earlier, so I do want to say that, you know, one major complaint with a lot of women, and myself included, is when you're reading male authors of fantasy, a lot of times their women are not written very well. I've said it before, it feels like they can usually be distilled down to either being busty or butt kicking, you know, like they're either this super tough warrior, almost in a hyper masculine way, but she's just like, she has boobs, you know, or they're just exclusively busty and they're there for sex appeal for the male characters to enjoy or to feed off of or whatever. And I find that to be so frustrating. And I especially find it to be frustrating when that specific stereotypes, one or the other, is in very popular, very well-respected fantasy. Because to me, it's not even a matter, it is, but it's not only the matter of how the women are depicted, it's the fact that it's such a weak form of characterization in writing. You are 100% doing a stereotype with a woman in that way. So something that I was nervous about how he was going to do this, because I just set aside The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie for that very reason, because that is exactly how the women are written in The Blade itself. I hear he gets better, but the first book, that's it. That's all that they're there for. So I was very nervous about that. And I will say that I am deeply impressed with how he writes the women in here, even though I have heard some criticism that this book is just, that he doesn't write women very well. And I firmly disagree. I firmly disagree with that. I have a lot of respect for a male author who can write a woman to both lean into her sensuality and her sexuality and her beauty even, while not making that the only thing about her that is interesting, you know. I love seeing female characters done by men where they sort of approach the women with a reverence type of thing, where they acknowledge the sensuality that she has, or they allow her to lean into that. Oh my goodness. But that's not the only thing about her character. That's not the only thing that is driving her force. That's not the only thing that the men find interesting about her, you know? So I really feel like none of the women in here are exclusively sexual. And none of the women in here are exclusively butt-kicking, you know? They have a range. There are a lot of women characters in here who are very evil, who are vile. There are a lot who do lean into their sensuality, and there are a lot who have very complicated emotions and feelings. I would say all of them do. So I am a big fan of how he wrote the women in here. And like I said, like, sometimes you pick up a fantasy book that's written by a man and he has written the woman, similarly to, like I was talking about, like the Joe Abercrombie, and he's not the only one, that's just the one that I've read recently. And I sort of feel like saying, do you even know any women, or do you even like women at all? Like, specifically, do you even know women? Because, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the way that Jay has written his women feels like he knows and understands women on a very good level, and every character in here that is a woman is approached with a sort of reverence almost. So I think that this is an author who has a good deal of respect for women, and he shows that in how he writes them. So I absolutely loved this. Like I said, like, if I did not have that other book to read, I would maybe just go back and start this over from the beginning, and I might do that anyways, because I loved it so much. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was dark and gritty, and there's definitely a lot of gore. There's a lot of killing in here. But the characters, man, the characters and the plot and the world and the concept, like, and the prose is beautiful, man. This is so good. This is so good. So anyway, thank you so much to Dylan for kind of pushing me to finally start this, and definitely a big shout out to Jen, who is how I had the very first flicker of interest was Jen, because she loves this book and she loves Jay Kristoff. So I'm 100% a fan. I am 100% a fan. I can't wait to read more. So All right, now we're gonna try and do Secret Love. I think I could get through that really quickly. And kind of an abrupt change in gears from a dark, gritty, gory fantasy to a sweet contemporary romance. But that's what we're gonna do. And just because of like how I feel finishing this, I want more of this world, but I also feel like there is a certain amount of sadness and heaviness and darkness in here, obviously, that I think it will be really good to change pace and have something that's not like that, you know? So, all right, we're gonna start Secret Love on audio. The audio came out because I didn't finish my physical arc, so I'm gonna catch up to where I had read it and listen to it. So I should definitely finish it because I forgot I'm not starting a whole audiobook today. I'll see y'all soon. Hello, my friends. It is Saturday night. I actually finished reading this book early this morning. I did finish Secret Love, so finished it, put my review up. I'm all good there. I was only a few days behind, but that's okay. And I loved it. I really, really loved it. Now, I feel like I do have like, I have a little bit of criticism, but it's not anything that diminished my enjoyment of the book, and it's not anything that made this not a 5-star. Like, I feel like this is a solid 5-star, sweet, romantic, low angst, cozy romance. And if that's what you're looking for, I feel like this is going to fit the bill for you perfectly. If you want something that has a little more angst, a little more drama, you're not going to like this, because there isn't any of that in here, you know? So let's talk about it really quickly. So this is the second book in the, I believe, the Single Dad Playbook series. It's the second in a series of single dad romances. All the heroes that we've met so far are football players for a major NFL team, and they are all single dads. So in this book, we have Henley, who is divorced. He's 37 years old, and he has 3 daughters, one of whom is like a 13-year-old girl. And I believe it's her. She's having some trouble in school, and she kind of got, yelled at by the teacher. And so Henley decides he's going to go and talk to the teacher and see what the heck is going on and stick up for his daughter. Now, before that happens, he has a run-in with our heroine, True, who he meets at, I believe, like a coffee shop. They have this really cute meet-cute. I think I talked about this in an earlier clip. You can feel the chemistry. You can feel the tension between them. You can tell that this meeting is something different for both of them, you know. So at school, we follow True, who is actually subbing as a teacher and hoping to get a full-time gig. She's young. I don't remember exactly how old she is, but I think she's at most mid-20s, maybe late 20s. I feel like it was mentioned there was a 10-year age gap, so she's a little bit younger than he is. She's kind of just getting started in her career. She's hoping to get a job as a teacher here, and she's subbing, and she ends up meeting our hero's daughter without realizing that's who she is, because she had that run-in with him, didn't know he had kids. So the dad Henley comes in to kind of yell at the teachers, never met her before, sees True, and is kind of taken aback by the fact that, oh, this is that girl that I met who I felt like I had a great connection with, only she's the teacher who's giving my daughter crap. So he proceeds to like yell at her and kind of ream her out. And she is like, what is going on? I'm a sub here, So that was kind of a fun little bit of tension. They get things all figured out. And True ends up getting a job as a teacher there. And she starts realizing that maybe Henley's daughter has dyslexia, that it's not anything that has been diagnosed or caught on before. And so she starts teaching her, like, privately at Henley's home, of course, right? And the romance very gradually develops from there. And I did really love the way this felt very slow building. And I think it was so beautiful watching them fall in love, because a lot of their exchanges are through text messaging. Because of Henley's daughters, there is not a lot of them interacting together, because, she's his daughter's teacher, so that's sort of the secret element. So they start having feelings for one another and sharing with one another through the text messaging, and then pretty quickly it's obvious that they can't stay apart, they're falling in love, and so that's when they start their secret relationship so the daughters don't know, because she's the teacher, And I will say that this whole series just feels very wholesome almost, and it's not that this book is without heat, because it does have heat for sure, kind of a lot, a decent amount, but the way the whole town is set up, the people are just so good, the heroes are all such good people, even in this book, the hero and his ex-wife, they divorced amicably, just because she didn't feel like she was in love with him anymore, you know? So they get along really well. There's literally no angst, no drama in this. This is just 100% cozy, cute, like sweet romance that is just so heartwarming. And this just feels like this feels like a cozy romance. I feel like maybe that's not a term that has as much traction as like cozy fantasy or cozy mystery, but that's exactly what this feels like to me, is cozy romance. Because even though this is low angst and it doesn't feel like there's any real drama or anything that's really like making you worried or afraid that they're going to end up together, like, you know, they're going to end up together, you know, it just feels so cozy and so comforting. And like, I have the ebook, I did buy the audio because I think I mentioned that earlier too, because I didn't get this read on time. So I alternated between reading it on my Kindle and listening to the audio. The audio performance was great, by the way. And I just really, really enjoyed it. So when it comes to like the criticisms that I have, I feel like really that's the criticism, is that everything is resolved very easily. Like there's no third act breakup in here. And even the fact that there is a trigger warning in here for like a sports related injury and how that could affect like PTSD or things like that, that really was wrapped up very quickly and very cleanly as well. And that's something that I would have liked to have seen explored more, but recognizing that's not what this book is. This isn't a book that's going to tackle those kind of issues and go deep and dark, you know, like this is a cozy, sweet, romantic, good time, and it's beautiful in that way, you know. So I really enjoyed it. It's 5 stars. Again, like, I feel like all of the men in here are literally perfect, and if you want a book with a perfect man who just swoons and loves and adores the heroine, this is it for you. I feel like I've read so many of these lately, and I'm loving it because it's just so, it just makes me so happy, you know. And I also feel like reading this off of the heels of Empire the Vampire, which was so like emotional and devastating and dark, like very, very a lot of emotional turmoil and a lot of dark things happening. I was kind of curious to see how this book would hit for me coming off of the heels of that. I was a little worried I was going to be disappointed, but this was perfect. This was like the perfect book to go into because it kind of got rid of those dark feelings. It made me just so happy. I was smiling the whole time. Like, this is just so fun and so sweet. I loved their interactions. I loved their romance. It's just perfect. I mean, this also does kind of touch on a little bit, like, the heroine has a verbally abusive, mentally abusive father, and so that is also kind of touched upon, which I felt was pretty relatable, you know. Like, I truly just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole thing. So, I mean, if I wanted to be critical, if I had read this in a mood where I was being critical, I would have probably rated that a little lower, but it gave me everything that I wanted. It gave me swoon, it gave me sweetness, it gave me romance, it gave me butterflies. Like, it was just cozy perfection, and I adored it. I just adored it. So that's my review on Secret Love. It was wonderful. I really, really loved it. I know I've said that a lot, but yeah, if that's the type of read you are looking for, I would highly recommend this. I would recommend the whole series, but this one I think I actually may like a little bit better than the first one, honestly, just because it does everything that I want a romance to do, you know? And even though it's not like super emotional or super hard hitting, like, I don't always need that in my romances. I have so much respect and love for those, but this did everything it set out to do, and it did it beautifully, and I just couldn't recommend it more. It was perfection. So there you have it. Thank you all so much for coming along in this vlog and listening to me ramble. I did get some more book mail, but I didn't end up unboxing it for you, but I got 2 more pieces of book mail from Lisa. It was so beautiful and so wonderful. So yeah, thank you so much, my friends, for watching this video. If you made it this far, please leave me some type of stars because the sun is setting. And if you want more bonus content from me, if you want to hang out with me, I do have a Patreon. You can come join us there, or, you know, be sure to subscribe, like all that good stuff. It really helps to support me. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in my next video.